Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is fabulous. And I've been doing some twisted stuff lately. not twisted, but I think my family thinks I'm crazy. And they probably are right. I don't know. Some of you might have seen the weird little experimental short film that I put up in June, I think it was. Maybe it was even May. It's on a different channel, and I know that some of you found it because you commented over there. I just kind of had a little inspiration, and I've talked about it here. And I've been working towards more of those. I've been working towards making soundscapes for them, starting with the audio, starting with soundscapes. That's why I mentioned recently I'm looking into getting some vintage toy keyboards, some sound makers, some guitar pedals. I'm looking for older lo-fi type stuff to make these soundscapes. So if you have any older lo-fi sound making things, please let me know. If you're willing to part with them, I will pay for them. I would like to have more of a library. Right now, I am literally working with just a digital voice recorder, my voice and sounds of my environment, and I have created some very interesting, to say the least, soundscapes for some future experimental projects. And on top of that, I've bought some curious things that have made my family go, oh, okay, I get it. And I have some shot ideas in my head, especially for one sequence that I want to shoot. It'll definitely be disturbing, I think. We'll see. But recently, we've had flies in the house. We get flies in the house every year because I have a dog door, and I let that be open pretty much all the time so he can come and go, and so we get flies. It just happens. And they go to my windows and they die. And they lay on my windowsills. And so I've been picking those up. And this weekend I found a bunch of them, and I put them in a place, and I filmed that. I filmed a collection of these dead flies. Well, then I came down here this week, and I finally got to work. I hoped, you know what, I'm just going to take a picture. I finally got to work saying I was going to add drawers to this miter saw station. So here we go. I'm actually going to attempt to put this in today's video. Here's the miter saw station. I added drawers over there last year or something like that. That was one of these units. Turned on its side, put some dividers in it, added the drawers. Well, I've had this section of the bench for a long time. Those rags on the left-hand side were shoved in that little hole. And I've been wanting to put drawers there. So this week I came down here and I added some 2x4s to make that happen, so that I could put drawer slides there, and I'm going to put 3 drawers. One's going to be very, very deep because it's going to hold this guy. So it's going to be like a 10 or 12 inch deep drawer, and the other 3 will be about 6 or 8 inches, and then I'll fill that space up with 3 drawers, and I'll have more storage. But that's not the point. The point is, I came down here and I was working on that, and I was sweeping, and when I was doing that, I had like a collection of dirt. I found some kind of bug on its back. It's not a roach. It kind of looks like a roach, but it's not a roach, or at least not what I would call a roach. I don't know what it is. And it was just like kicking in the air, and it was trying to flip over, and it couldn't. And I was like, oh, this is the moment. And so I ran upstairs, and I grabbed those flies, those dead flies, and I kind of swirled up the dust on the floor. And I'm not going to show you this, by the way. This part I'm not going to show you until it's done. Swirled up the sawdust on the floor, put the flies there, put this weird bug thing on its back in the middle of all of that, and I got the camera and put the lens on. I got the, my really shallow depth of field lens, and and kind of crank the exposure a little bit so it's gritty, and I just so I go to shoot and the bug just stops moving. So I had to, like, I'm in there like provoking this bug so it starts going crazy, and you can see all the flies around it. So I think my family, maybe they're right, maybe I'm crazy, but in my head, that was a beautiful moment, right? It was this beautifully inspiring moment where I saw possibility in this collection of detritus on my stained up concrete floor, and this, bug kicking and these flies, and I was like, oh, this is a part of the story. This is a part of that. And it was awesome, right? It was really fun to just have that moment, to be like, yes, I found it again. Because that was the moment, if you watch the previous film, that film came from me, I was just casually observing the world, and then I saw this little bug kind of struggling, sparks, and I got the camera and I filmed it, and then I found some audio to do that with. And this time, I've been doing the audio first and been trying to find those moments to add to the audio. And that was it. It was super weird. I get it. Like, people don't normally go into their basement and film bugs dying around dirt and dead fly. Like, I get it. It's weird. But I think it will tell a part. It'll have its part, right? Just like the bug climbing the doors, soaked in rain. That bug had a meaning. That had a part in that world. That had a part in that creation of mine. I published that video, by the way, before it was finished. That was not a finished concept. There was no tension. There was just this weird stuff. I intended to have an ending to that I never found, and so I just released it as it is. But this one, Bugs on My Concrete Floor, I think will have a complete story, a beginning, a middle, and an end. So we'll see. I'll show it to you when it's done. But for the meantime, I'm going to keep working on it. There's some props that I'm making. I need to find a location for one of the shoots. And I think I have a few different soundscapes to choose from. I would like to add a little bit more music to it. I haven't found that yet. Like, right now it's more just sounds that are there. I would like to maybe add a little bit more tonality to it. I just got to figure out how to do that. That's going to be my weekend. What are you going to be doing? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you again on Monday. Today's word you should know to sound smart is missive. It is a noun meaning an official or formal letter. He sent out a missive informing all employees that henceforth there would be no smoking in their quarters, but he forgot to remove the ashtrays. Missive, M-I-S-S-I-V-E. I did not know that carried a connotation of being a formal or official. I thought a missive was more just like a note.